Hello and welcome to STEM with Mr. N, where every week I perform different demonstrations and explain the science behind what we're seeing. This week I'm going to show you how to make a model eardrum and a model telephone as I explore the science of sound. Let's check it out. Sound travels in waves, and these waves can pass through solids, liquids or gases. Now when a sound is made, it causes a series of vibrations in the molecules that make up that solid, liquid or gas, which then pass into the other molecules that make up that medium until the vibrations run out of energy. To visualise this, I have some plastic corks attached to some springs. The green cork is where my sound is going to start. So you'll see when I pull the green cork back and let it go, it sends a series of vibrations into the yellow, red and then the blue cork on the end. This is the same as what happens when somebody speaks or when a sound is made. Vibrations are made in a medium, either solid, liquid or gas, which then passes to the other molecules which make up that medium. Sound usually passes faster through a solid than it does through a liquid, and it definitely passes faster through liquids and solids than it does through gases. This is because the molecules which make up solids and liquids are more tightly packed than the molecules which make up gases. There is a way that you can feel sound vibrations as a sound is being made. When you are talking, air is passing up through your throat and vibrating through your vocal cords, creating the sound you make when you speak. If you put your hand against your throat while you are talking, you will be able to feel these vibrations passing from your throat into your hand. There is another way that you can feel sound vibrations as they pass through a solid and a gas. To do this, you want to blow up a balloon and then tie the end. Once you've done that, you'll want to hold one side of the balloon up to your mouth and put your hand flat on the other side of the balloon. Now when you talk, you'll be able to feel the vibrations from your voice passing through the balloon into your hand. If somebody had their ear on the other side of the balloon, they would be able to hear your voice as the vibrations pass through the solid of the balloon and the gas inside it. You can also feel sound vibrations if you're up close to a speaker which is turned up quite high. You'll be able to feel the air next to the speaker vibrating as the sound comes out of the speaker. Now that we have felt sound vibrations, we are going to see sound vibrations. The first demonstration simply involves a ruler and the edge of my counter. If I slide the ruler off the edge of the counter and flick the end, you'll see that the ruler vibrates and you'll hear that it makes a sound which is caused by the vibrations in the ruler. The type of sound that the ruler makes depends on how big the vibration is. If I pull the ruler in really close to the end and flick it, it makes a high-pitched sound with a very quick vibration. As I start to slide the ruler out, the pitch of the sound goes lower and the ruler has bigger vibrations. This is exactly what happens when sound is made by anything. High-pitched sounds have short, fast vibrations and low-pitched sounds have long, slow vibrations. For the other sound visualization, I'm going to use a cup of water and a tuning fork. Now tuning forks are designed so that when you tap the prongs of the tuning fork off a hard surface, they will vibrate and play a certain note. It's really difficult to see the prongs of the tuning fork vibrating, but you can visualize them by dipping the end of them into the top of a cup of water. You'll notice that when the tuning fork is tapped on the counter and then put into the top of the cup of water, ripples spread out from where the tuning fork is touching the water. This is because the prongs of the fork are vibrating and these vibrations are passing through the water. Also, when you tap a tuning fork on the counter and pass it right up to your ear, That is when you get a really clear sound from the fork as the prongs are vibrating. So now we have felt and seen sound vibrations, but how does my ear pick up the sound that is being made as a tuning fork passes by it, or pick up any sound for that matter? Well, your outer ear focuses sound vibrations down into your ear canal. As the vibrations pass through your ear canal, they vibrate your eardrum. This in turn vibrates 3 tiny bones contained within your ear. These bones amplify the vibrations and pass them to the cochlea, which is a sort of snail shell shape. The cochlea has liquid inside it, and it also has a membrane with hairs on it. These hairs vibrate at different frequencies depending on the sound being made. As they vibrate, they open up pores, and this allows chemicals to pass through to the brain, and the brain interprets these chemical signals as sound, and that is how you hear. So now I'm going to show you how to make a model eardrum. For this, all you needed some salt, a cup and some cling film. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the cling film over the top of the cup and pull it down nice and tight. Once I've done that, I'm going to sprinkle a small amount of salt onto the top of the cup. Then, with the cling film pulled nice and tight, I'm going to put my lips together, put my face down very close to the cup, and I'm going to hum and watch what happens to the salt. You will notice that the salt starts bouncing around on top of the cling film because of the vibrations coming from my voice. This is just like what happens in your ear. The cling film in this example is acting like our eardrum, which is vibrating, and it is making the salt vibrate. The salt is like the 3 tiny bones, because it's easier to see the salt vibrating than it is to see the cling film. So the salt is amplifying the vibrations just like the 3 tiny bones inside your ear. And that is how to make a model eardrum. One of the most amazing inventions I think that has ever been created using sound is the telephone. Now, a telephone has a microphone inside it with a pad which picks up the vibrations from your voice and transfers these into an electrical signal. This electrical signal is then transferred to the telephone at the other end with who you are talking to, and it transfers the electrical signal back into vibrations which come out their phone into their ear so they can hear your voice. I'm going to show you how you can make a model telephone using 2 paper cups, a piece of string and a sharp pencil. The first thing I'm going to do is, using my sharp pencil, put a hole in the bottom of each of my paper cups. Now that I've got holes in the bottom of both of my paper cups, I'm going to feed one end of a piece of string through the bottom of one paper cup and tie a knot in the end of the string, and then I'm going to do the same with the other end of the string through into the other paper cup. You want to make sure your knot is big enough that it does not come back out through the hole in the bottom of the cup. If when you're doing that, you do end up with a knot which is too small and is coming back through the hole, tie another couple of knots in your piece of string so that all your knots join up, and this should then be big enough to not come out the bottom of the cup. Now what you'll want to do is test your cup telephone. One person will hold one cup up to their ear, and the other person will hold the other cup up to their mouth, and you want to make sure the string is nice and tight between the 2 cups. When the person with the cup up to their mouth speaks, the person with the cup up to their ear should hear it. I don't have anyone here that I can test it with, so I'm going to attach one of my cups to the counter and clip the microphone onto it so you can hear my telephone in action. And so you know this is no trick with effects. This is my voice speaking normally with the microphone. This is my voice as I speak into the cup. And here is my voice as it is received through my cup telephone. So how is this cup telephone actually working? Well, we've already established that when you speak, you vibrate the air in front of your mouth. These vibrations pass into the cup and then into the string. Because the string is nice and tight, the vibrations pass all the way down the string into the cup at the other end. And then these vibrations pass into the ear of whoever's listening, and they can hear your voice. This is very similar to how an actual telephone converts the vibrations from your voice into an electrical signal, which then transfers these to the phone at the other end. Now, as well as trying these demonstrations at home, I would like you to do your own research task with a chance of your name and your research being shouted out in a future STEM with Mr. N video about sound. I've been talking about how we can see, feel and hear sound. But can all animals hear sound? And if they can't, do they have another way of detecting sound? This is what I would like you to research, and you can send your findings to stemwithmrn@outlook.com. You can tag me on Twitter with your findings at Mr_S_Naismith, or you can message the STEM with Mr. N Facebook page at facebook.com/STEMwithMrN, and I look forward to hearing from you with your research. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Before I finish up, I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone that has supported the channel so far. That is the Facebook page now exceeded 1,000 followers. I would like to take this opportunity to answer any science questions you have about any science topics at all. So feel free to email me at stemwithmrn@outlook.com and I'll get back to you with answers to your questions. It's also great seeing pictures or videos of the demonstrations that people have been trying at home. So again, feel free to send these to stemwithmrn@outlook.com. You can tag me on Twitter at Mr_S_Naismith, or you can message the STEM with Mr. N Facebook page, facebook.com/STEMwithMrN. You can subscribe to the channel by pushing the button here, and I've added links here to the other STEM demonstrations I've done so far. This has been STEM with Mr. N, exploring sound.